herzlichst willkommen zurück hier beim, Simulator, der uns ein bisschen an der Menschlichkeit, auch wenn es die digitale Menschlichkeit ist, zweifeln lässt. Wir haben den geheimen Raum, den Torture-Raum, den Folterraum gefunden. Und ich hatte in der letzten Folge gesagt, wir suchen irgendeinen Doc, weil ich das, glaube ich, gesehen hatte in irgendeinem Dialog. Oder ich weiß nicht, manchmal bin ich auch in Gedanken bei der Lösung des Falls und lese die Dialoge nicht. Wem wir es auf jeden Fall sagen müssen, ist ja erstmal der Kollege hier im Hotel. Und das machen wir als erstes. Und dann sehen wir weiter. Und los. Udo, gute Nachrichten. Ich habe den Todesraum gefunden.
Guy?
Stimmt.
Yes?
I found the secret room you told me about.
You see? I wasn't lying.
No, you certainly weren't. There was someone inside, a man.
No. Who?
I'm not sure, but I can only assume it was one of Madame Dupre's servants.
Was he all right?
I'm afraid not. He was dead. Dr. Fellows confirmed it was due to asphyxiation.
Er ist erstickt. Oh Gott. Ist das gruselig. Aber das war das mit dem Doktor, was ich meinte. Ah, seht ihr. Noch nicht ganz Hopf und Malz bei mir verloren.
Madame Dupre must have put him in there before I drugged her. And then, with everything that's happened, she didn't let him out in time. Oh my God. It's my fault he's dead. If only I'd known.
Also. Das ist immer diese Filmlogik. Oh Gott. Ich bin schuld daran, dass der Mörder wen ermordet hat. Nein, bist du nicht. Bist du nicht. Vielleicht hätte sie ihn auch so ermorden lassen dort, also verkommen lassen. Das ist Quark. Das ist wirklicher Quark, Guy. Einzig und allein schuld ist der Mörder. Die Mörderin in diesem Fall.
The circumstances are quite unfortunate, Mr. Dumas. However, this has shed a new light on Madame Dupre and her cruel practices. I can't say for certain that you were justified in your actions, but...
Dass das, was sie machten, gerechtfertigt war.
I am a bit reluctant to say you were completely at fault. But the bottom fact is that Mr. Martin has been falsely accused of this crime. If I were to let you go, he would be punished in your place. Unless...
Yes?
I'm going to need you to write me a letter, Mr. Dumas.
Oh, ist das geil. Ich hab's gecallt. Oh, ja. Das mag ich immer besonders gerne. Ah, schöne Sache, Harry.
Of course, Mr. Fordham. Anything to take care of this mess.
Good. Hopefully now this whole grim affair can be brought to an end.
Du haust ab, Bruder.
That's all for right now, but I'll be back.
Yes, Mr. Fordham. I'll be here.
Ja, dann bleibt noch, falls wir noch Rückfragen haben, oder was? Oh, was war das? Jetzt das sind die Staubpartikelchen. Okay. Ja, ich glaube, wir können das jetzt vorbringen im lauten Café.
Can we talk?
Go on.
Okay, wir werden den Kollegen nicht ans Messer liefern. Ich weiß nicht, wo er ist, das werde ich sagen.
I think I'm ready to wrap this case up.
Okay, who's your prime suspect?
Freisprechen. Das ist natürlich schwierig. Also ich möchte eigentlich sagen, dass es Notfall war.
It was Guy Dumas, a former servant at Dupre Manor.
So in etwa.
He used toxic plants to drug Madame Dupre so she appeared dead, which he learned about from her daughter's schoolbooks.
What was his motive?
That's the thing. I've learned that Madame Dupre is extremely cruel to her servants. She regularly beats them, and even has a secret room no bigger than a coffin where she places them as punishment.
Und sie hat auch jemanden umgebracht. Können wir das bitte auch dazu sagen? Es ist eine gerechtfertigt vielleicht nicht, aber es ist eine nachvollziehbare Handlung. Der Mensch hatte Angst um sein Leben und seine Freundin wurde umgebracht.
I discovered this secret room and found a dead servant inside. He had died from asphyxiation.
My God.
Korrekt.
A few months ago, Madame Dupre beat Guy's lover Celine to death. He wanted revenge and intended to make Madame Dupre suffer the trauma of being interred alive.
I see.
Constance, I don't think Dumas should be arrested for his crime. He doesn't deserve it.
Constance, ich glaube nicht, dass Dumont für sein Vergehen verhaftet werden sollte. Er hat es nicht verdient. Ja, okay.
Madame Dupré, however.
Die müssen wir eintüten. Ich hätte natürlich auch sagen, unlösbarer Fall. Hätte ich auch sagen können. Dann wäre er auf jeden Fall weggekommen. Dann wäre aber der andere wahrscheinlich verknastet worden. Also so, glaube ich, ist es das Beste.
Yes, I see what you're saying, and I agree, but what about Mr. Martin?
Ja, der hat nichts gemacht.
I got a signed confession from Mr. Dumas. You can see the handwriting matches this note I found in the cemetery. That should be enough to release Mr. Martin, as well as giving Guy a head start in his escape from the city.
Perfekt.
It's going to be tricky getting the department to look into this, but with the proof you've gathered, it should work. Excellent investigating, Fordham. I knew you still had it in you.
Mhm.
And of course, I'll dip into the department's Good Samaritan fund to get you proper compensation for your work.
Ah ja, sehr gut.
For now, go home to your wife. I'm sure I'll have something else for you to look into fairly
Ach,
soon.
das ist doch gar nicht das ganze Spiel. Ah, wir haben gleich... Also wir kriegen einen neuen Fall jetzt, oder was? Ah.
Good evening. I'm looking for Madame Laura Dupré.
Oh ja, jetzt wird sie verknastet. Ja, bitte.
This is Madame Dupré. I am her personal physician, Dr. Fellows. May we help you, officer?
Kannst du. Step zur Seite. Die wird eingeknastet, die Alte.
I'm afraid I must place Madame Dupré under arrest.
Oh ja.
What? On what charge?
Several, actually. Manslaughter, domestic violence, murder in the second degree. Shall I go on, or can we continue this at the police station?
Oh, ist das geil.
You won't have to worry about Madame Dupré anymore. She'll be in jail for a very long time.
Ja,
And Mr.
super.
Martin has been released with a full pardon as well.
Oh, toll. Das ist ja genau das Ende, was wir wollten.
Thank you, Mr. Fordham. I appreciate your help and your trust.
Think nothing of it, but you'll need to leave town as soon as you can. Have you made plans?
I was thinking of heading south. New Bretagne is too cold and dark. I want to find someplace more like my home.
Well, I wish you the best of luck, Mr. Dumas. Addie, I'm home.
Nicht so sie da.
Addie?
No.
She must still be out at her hairdressing
Ah,
appointment.
okay. Gott, gleich so wieder Doomsday-Fantasien hier bei mir.
I'm glad we're alone because I wanted to talk to you about something.
Yes, Bill, I know. I told you I'm doing my best to try and find the flower shop burglar.
No, for once, this isn't about him.
Hm.
This is about you.
Hm. Und die Musik ändert sich. Oh nein. Spiel, was machst du mit uns?
You want to talk about me? What about me?
You can play dumb and deflect all you like with everyone else around you, but it won't work with me. I know exactly what you're thinking, and you know exactly what I'm gonna say.
Du willst, dass ich den Dieb vom Blumenladen finde. Du willst darüber sprechen, wie dieser Fall gelaufen ist. Ich weiß es wirklich nicht und ich bin leid, dieses Spiel zu spielen. Ich weiß es tatsächlich nicht. Aber er sagt ja, um den Blumenladen-Typ geht es nicht.
I'm sick of games, Bill. I can't guess. Just tell me.
Have you already forgotten the old days, Miles? Before I died, we were solving cases like nobody's business. You were one of the best detectives on the force.
Na gut, das war doch jetzt gar nicht so schlecht, was wir da gemacht haben.
But ever since you started taking that soporific, your mind hasn't been as sharp as before.
Der ist ein bisschen drogenabhängig, also dieses Schlaftonikum.
If you're serious about taking on more complex cases, you need to listen to Adelaide and stop taking it.
Dann werden wir das tun.
It's already had a negative effect on your performance.
What are you talking about? We were able to discover the truth about Madame Dupré.
Nein, was habe ich verkackt? Kommt da jetzt noch was?
Yes, but if you were working at your full abilities,
Ja.
you'd have come to that conclusion much sooner.
Schönes Beispiel, wie der Lösungsbaum, dieser Adventure-Game-Lösungsbaum in diesem Spiel aufgebaut ist. Der Dialog da vorne ist fest. Hätten wir halt den Fall als unlösbar abgestuft oder den Typen eingeknastet, weil wir den Raum nicht gefunden hätten, dann hätte er jetzt an dieser Stelle gesagt, ja, du hast das aber vergessen oder du hast den Typen, den Guy ans Messer geliefert oder du hast alles vergeigt und Jetzt gibt es sozusagen die 1A-Lösung, also das Beste vom Besten, nehme ich mal an. Wenn du noch voll da wärst, hättest du dir hättest das Ganze viel schneller rausgefunden. Schöner, ja, Dialogbaum, sage ich jetzt mal. Entscheidungsbaum.
If I stop taking it, you won't let me sleep through the night. Nothing will change.
Well, things would change if you found you-know-who.
I thought you said we weren't going to talk about that right now.
Yeah, well, I say a lot of things.
An understatement if ever there was one. Can't you just keep quiet without me having to take something?
Afraid not, old friend. That's just not who I am or how this works.
If you keep me up all night, I'll go crazy. Things have been hard enough as it is. And if, God forbid, Adelaide were ever to find out about...
Hello, Miles. Is there someone else here? I thought I heard you talking just now.
Fantastic. The jig is up. And here I thought we were doing so well, too.
Ich habe gerufen, um zu sehen, dass du im Haus bist. Das wäre wahrscheinlich das Beste, weil das machen wir wirklich.
Oh, yes, I was just calling out to see if you were home yet.
Well, I am now.
Okay, das hat sie gekauft. Sehr schöne Sache.
How was your appointment?
Mrs. Lefebvre was her usual bossy and overly picky self, but she gave me a very generous tip.
That's good.
So I stopped by the shop on the way home and bought a new deck of cards.
Excellent. Shall we have a few rounds of écarté? I believe you demanded a rematch last time we played.
Yes, that would be nice.
Well, you certainly managed to dodge that bullet.
Ja, guck mal, das überraschend flawless, oder? Also das ist man von mir wirklich nicht gewohnt.
I only wonder how much longer you'll manage before one finally hits you.
Ja, müssen natürlich aufpassen. Bisher kein Safe-Scumming. 2 Wochen danach. Im Wohnzimmer.
And it says here they still don't know what caused that explosion.
I guarantee you it was sabotage. Those Redites have been causing a lot of trouble lately.
Ja, diese Reddits, das ist wirklich, also das ist ganz schlimm.
Is that the group of anti-steam tech radicals?
The very same.
Ah ja.
Why Redites, though?
They're named after some fellow named Jonathan Red, apparently the one who began the whole anti-steam movement. It's really a rather stupid name, if you ask me. And uncreative, to boot.
Well, what would you call them then?
Die Ausdampfer. Moment, die Antidampfgesellschaft. Die Vereinigung zur Wahrung produktiver Explosion. Die Rumsbums-Jungs, das finde ich gut.
Something more evocative, like the Boom Boom Boys.
Die Rumsbums-Jungs. Ja, exactly.
Definitely gets to the point, I'll give you that.
Oh Gott.
Perhaps you'd best stick with the detecting, dearest. Your nomenclature needs a bit of work.
Well, I think it's about time I get ready for bed.
Okay, kein Schlaftonikum, mein Freund.
All right, Miles, if you must.
Kein Tonikum, mein Freund. So, jetzt ist die Frage. So wie das Spiel aktuell sich verhält, würde ich sagen, wir haben ein paar Möglichkeiten. Vielleicht haben wir tatsächlich eine Möglichkeit, ihn müde zu machen. Ich weiß nicht genau wie. Vielleicht können wir ins Notizbuch gucken. Gut, das hat überraschenderweise nichts gebracht.
It's been so long since... Where are you going? Let her be for now. You've got your own things to take care of. Didn't I give you two that clock as a wedding present? If there isn't a pair of scissors or a hairbrush in Adelaide's hands, you can bet there'll be a book.
Das ist ihre Arbeit. Okay, ich dachte, sie lässt sich schick machen. So. Aber sie ist Friseurin. So, dann gehen wir mal durch. Ich werde versuchen, kein Schlaftonikum zu nehmen.
Who could that be at this time of night?
Okay. Das ist gar nicht das.
Good question. Adelaide can handle it for now. I need to take my medicine.
Nein, du nimmst sie diesmal nicht, mein Freund.
You certainly have your priorities in order. Go on then. Get that bottle of rat piss out of your nightstand and let's get this over with.
Addie can handle whoever's at the door.
Nein, wir nehmen
That's
das.
a fun little app.
Watching it's
I'd say that's really more the soporific.
Also, Kollege, was doch jetzt gerade passiert ist, also ich bin wieder zu Doomsday-mäßig unterwegs. Ich weiß. Aber was jetzt für mich passiert ist, er nimmt jetzt das Schlaftonikum, wird ultra müde und dann ist es vielleicht ein Verbrecher oder irgendwas Wichtiges. Wir können nicht helfen. Kann ich das nicht lassen? Kann ich nicht irgendwie was anderes tun?
Adelaide's last performance. I always. That's a fun.
watch.
That's.
Addie can handle.
Ach Mann, ey, ist das doof.
Ugh, tastes like the devil's sweat.
You could just stop
Yeah,
taking
yeah.
it, you know.
Bill, now is not the time to.
Jetzt.
Miles, could you come back out
Oh,
here,
jetzt
please?
hätte ich's
Be right there,
gewusst.
dearest. Who was that at the door?
A late night courier. You've got a message from Upton.
Neben diesem Fall Neben diesem Fall sieht der letzte einfach aus. Okay. Treffen Sie mich umgehend im Rue Kaffeehaus. Es ist dringend.
It seems this case is rather urgent. She wants me to meet.
But didn't you just take your soporific? Are you going to be all right to go?
It won't kick in for another hour or so. Should be plenty of time.
All right, I'm going to bed then. Good luck, dear.
Good night, Addie.
Ach man, natürlich, der fühlt sich schuldig und so, aber er hat doch sogar den Geist von seinem Kumpel im Kopf, der ihm sagt, dass er nicht schuldig ist. Also dieser Typ ist eine absolute Naturgewalt hier hinten.
Hello, Upton.
I'm glad you came, Fordham. Sorry for disturbing you this late.
Was gibt es so Dringendes, das nicht bis morgen warten kann? Sollte eine achtbare junge Dame wie Sie nicht bereits im Bett sein? Komm, mal kein Joke.
Shouldn't a respectable young lady like you be in bed by now?
Only if you want to add boring to your list of adjectives.
So, what do you got for me?
An infant kidnapping in Lyon. The report came in tonight just before my shift ended. The family wants to keep the investigation very low-key. They're afraid if word gets out, they'll have all sorts of ne'er-do-wells making false ransom claims. That's why I suggested they let you investigate first. Head over to 45 Belcourt Street. That's the home of Malcolm and Miriam Harris, the parents of the kidnapped boy.
Ah, okay.
Harris, as in Harris Construction Company?
The very same, owned by Malcolm's father, no less. Now you see why they wanted to keep this out of the public eye.
Indeed. If they manage to get a new transatlantic airship off the ground, it'll be an aura mine. I can see why they'd make an easy target. Okay, I'm on it. I'll try and find him as soon as I possibly can.
Right. Good luck on your investigation. Come see me again once you've figured things out, or if you just need to talk. I'll be here all day tomorrow as well, so feel free to stop by.
Ich wollte nach Hause und schlafen gehen, aber das Spiel lässt mich natürlich nicht. Guten Tag.
Mr. Miles Fordham is here to see you, sir.
Very good, Mr. Havelock. Send him up.
Yes, sir.
Good evening to you, sir.
Guten
Good
Abend.
evening, Mr. Fordham. I'm Malcolm Harris.
Guten Abend, Mr. Harris. Grüße Sie. Ich bin Detektiv Rick.
I'm terribly sorry to hear about what's happened, Mr. Harris.
Ja, das in der Tat.
Thank you, Mr. Fordham. You were very highly recommended by Miss Upton. She said you'd be able to solve this faster and more discreetly than the police.
Ja, da haben Sie richtig gehört. Danke, dass Miss Upton natürlich das so nett über uns gesagt hat. Wir werden hier auch als die schnellsten Ermittler von Mexiko genannt, auch wenn wir natürlich in den USA sind. Aber gut, komm. Wollen wir hier loslegen?
I admit it's a rather unorthodox approach, but we're desperate.
Ja, fear no more.
I understand. I'll do all I can to find the kidnapper and bring your son back unharmed.
If you'd like to examine the nursery, it's just through that door to the left. I'll ask you to please try and keep quiet as I just sent my wife to bed. Her nerves are rather shot, you see.
Yes, of course.
Na klar. Wir machen das. Ist das Kinderzimmer? Das ist das Schlafzimmer? Das ist das Kinderzimmer. Soll ich direkt ins Schlafzimmer marschieren? Ich habe mit der Frau was zu besprechen da. Ach, crazy. Das ist ein Baby noch. Na, das ist der Elephant im Room hier. Wir gucken uns erstmal das Babybett an.
That's odd. Why is there a loose button in the crib?
Ja, genau.
Now, I'm no expert on children, but it seems like it would be dangerous to have around an infant. If only the flower shop burglar was as easy to find as this clue was.
Perfekt. Eingetütet.
Yeah, the kidnapper left the child's blanket behind. There doesn't appear to be any trace of the silver spoon, though. Yeah, the kidnapper...
Ja, sein können.
Nice mobile. Custom made, too. There'll be no mistaking what family this child comes from. Nice mobile.
Ja, sein können, dass da noch ein paar mehr Sachen sind.
Oh dear.
Oh, das Schlaftonikum.
How wonderful. The soporific has started working. Well done, Fordham. Now how are you supposed to... What's the word I'm looking for? Instigate? Interrogate? I just had it on the tip of my tongue.
Perhaps it's time to call it a night.
Oh, es ist so schwierig für mich, sich das anzugucken, wie er hier mit seinem Kummer nicht in Schlaf kommt. Oh, übel.
Quiet.
Ist das gut gemacht.
To sleep. A chance to dream.
Boah, ist das gut gemacht.
No talking now.
Well, Mr. Harris, I believe I've done all I can for right now.
Did you find anything?
Yes, I believe I have some leads I can pursue. But the most important thing to do in cases like this is wait to hear from the kidnappers. I'll be back tomorrow morning to continue my investigation and ask you and your wife some questions once you've had time to calm down a bit. In the meantime, I suggest you stay here and get some sleep. We'll all need it.
Junge, warum durfte ich nicht?
Miles, wake up. It's nearly noon.
Ah, so it is.
Why didn't you come to bed when you got home last night?
It was late. I didn't want to disturb you.
So what was so urgent about the case Upton sent you?
Dürfen wir nicht sagen.
I'm trying to track a kidnapped child.
Oh my goodness. That's awful.
Yes, the pressure's on, but I think I should be able to crack it.
Assuming you actually managed to get anything done at the Harris Manor today.
Well, let me know if there's anything I can do to help.
Ach Mann, ey, du bist so
Also,
nett.
we've got company. Mrs. Delacroix is having her hair done here today, so please make yourself presentable.
You mean I'm not all ready?
At least do something about your hair. I do have a reputation to maintain after all.
What's wrong with my hair?
Do you really want me to answer that? We'll be here all day.
So.
And then he said, "Oh, hello there. I don't believe we've met."
Mrs. Delacroix, this is my husband, Miles. Miles, this is Mrs. Delacroix.
Pleasure to meet you, madam.
Likewise, young man. Pleasure.
Is everything all right, Mrs. Delacroix?
Oh, yes, everything's fine. Well, you weren't what I was expecting, is all.
Keep your head, Miles. She may be a closed-minded idiot, but she's just an old lady.
Ach so. Ha. Oh, die dachte, wir sind schwarz, oder? Ich glaube deswegen. Ich will sehr freundlich sein.
What were you expecting exactly?
Now then, Mrs. Delacroix, what was it that you were telling me about Mr. Delacroix and his dogs?
Oh, yes. So, Harold came in and said...
Impressive. She got off pretty easy. I was expecting a repeat of the Parsons incident. You should give Adelaide a kiss on the way out, though, just to make the old bat feel extra uncomfortable.
Ja, das ist gut.
Your book collection...
Addie?
Not right now, we can talk once I finish with Mrs. Delacroix.
Aber warum gibt's keinen Knutschi? Na gut. Ja, ja, ja.
Goodbye, dearest.
I look forward to your return, my love.
Junge, das ist echt krass. Also. Oh.
Remind me, Miles, how is finding some rich people's kidnapped baby going to help us track down the flower shop burglar?
Ich will Menschen helfen, das finde ich cool. Vielleicht finden wir während der Forschung eine Spur.
I'm not interested in the burglar right now. I want to help these people and get their child back.
Ja, das finde ich gut.
Or at the very least, help them find out what happened to him.
Right. Well, you'll need your full wits about you if you plan on doing that.
What are you implying?
I'm not implying. I'm flat out telling you. You need to stop taking that soporific.
Hätte ich das an diesem Punkt schon anders machen können?
Adelaide has been trying to get you to stop for months, and Upton already suspects something is amiss. Not to mention your little episode last night. Trust me, no one is going to want to hire the duller detective.
Clever. Did you come up with that one all by yourself?
What are you going to do when the cases stop coming in? How long before you get put away in Riverview?
If I do get locked away, it'll be your fault.
Which is exactly why you need to get back to your normal routine so you can find the burglar.
Ich höre auf damit, das ist schon cool, dass es alles anfängt. Aber wenn du mich nachts wach hältst, aber das bedeutet nicht, dass wir dann plötzlich morgen den Blumendieb finden. Das wird nicht dazu führen, dass ich früher aufwache. Nee.
All right, fine. I'll stop. But if you keep me awake at night, so help me.
Don't worry. I'm sure you'll find a way to cope. You were always good at that.
Super. Okay.
Well, I'm glad that's settled then. I knew you'd see things my way eventually.
It's not as though you gave me much of a choice.
In time, you'll thank me. Probably not before the withdrawal hits, though.
Don't make me change my mind on this, Bill.
Kingston konnten wir schon mal.
Mr. Fordham, you're back. Allow me to introduce my wife, Miriam.
Hello.
Miriam, bleiben Sie ruhig, wir werden das finden.
A pleasure, Mrs. Harris.
Das Kind.
I wish we could have met under better circumstances, but I assure you I'm doing all I can to find your son.
Thank you, Mr. Fordham.
Mr. Harris, has there been any communication from the kidnapper?
None at all.
Well, I'll have another look around, if you don't mind.
Okay. Ab in das Kinderzimmer.
Miles, didn't you notice something a bit strange about the Harrises?
Ja, nee, eigentlich nicht. Also die saßen getrennt, aber das dachte ich jetzt würde einfach nur wegen des Screens so, damit der Screen ein bisschen voller ist. Normalerweise würde man denken, dass man sich so ein bisschen Comfort, also so ein bisschen sich umeinander kümmert.
Quite a few things, actually. What are you referring to?
His son was just kidnapped, yet they're each on their own side of the sitting room.
Insane. Detective Rick, let's go!
Not comforting each other, not crying together. Nothing.
They're stuck-up rich people. Not exactly the type to show emotion.
Miles, you know I'm the most cynical person there is when it comes to their type. But this isn't normal behavior, even for snobs. This goes deeper than saving face. There's something going on between them. I think you should find out what.
Das finden wir raus, aber erst in der nächsten Folge. Danke fürs Dabeisein und bis dahin. Tschüss.